Hey, welcome to Grey the Gold Witch. Today's a reading on hidden messages where we're going to see what spirit is ready for you to see. So the first pile we have is this beautiful Amazonite crystal. There, you can see it well. Here is another crystal. I don't know what kind it is, but it looks like the earth to me, or like islands and water. Yeah. Okay. The third pile is this crystal with multiple crystals inside it. Yeah, it's interesting how fuzzy the camera's getting. It's like kind of an ode to not being able to see clearly. I guess this one's like immediately clear. This is Angelite. Okay, so take a second, meditate on the piles, what feels right, and I will see you in your pile. Timestamps are in the caption. Hey, pile 1, if you chose the Amazonite crystal, this is your reading on hidden messages for you. So, to start, I have been super drawn to this photo. I'm gonna make sure it's focusing. Oh yeah, it is. And it's in the Met, and it's called The Storm. And it's this guy and girl holding her part of her dress over them as they run through the forest. And it really reminds me of Midsummer Night's Dream, even though I'm not very well versed in that. I recently bought the book, so I'm going to read it when I find the time. And that reminds me the time is always now. It's time to, like, when people are like, time to find the time to do this, it's like, well, what better time is there than right now? So maybe that's me telling myself to read that sooner. Who knows? Okay, so that felt important to your reading. Also, I felt led to go with the flow in your reading and not know what decks I'm going to use yet. And this feels like kind of things happening as they happen, less of a plan and more of just things coming together. So we'll see what that means too. Okay, so what are the hidden messages for pile 1? We'll start with this, the Weaver. Okay, there's something you've been growing, something you've been putting together that has been completed and has gone up into the spirit realm, or it's been connected. It's, we talk about co-creation, meeting the universe halfway and seeing you've done your part and the universe has done its part. And it's time to bring whatever this is into culmination. The mountains here are really standing out. For some reason, the past few days, I've been really drawn to mountainous areas where, and look at the sky in this. It kind of reminds me of the Northern Lights. So you might be going somewhere, that you can see the stars very well, or somewhere that is known for its mountains. That's not very specific, but maybe this feels like it's meant to go there in some way. So I hope in some way that resonates. Just some connection between those things and the work you've done and what you've created. Whether it be a psychic thing or a tangible thing you've created. So we'll look at more cards. My animals are all in my room right now, so you'll probably be hearing them quite a bit. So we have the Three of Swords on the back of the deck. Put it here. And we have the Four of Birds, Four of Swords. And the Four of Lotuses, the Four of Cups. For some reason, Miley Cyrus's The Climb just came into my head. There's more mountains here, obviously, and The sky also, I mean, all these cards have brilliant sky, but I'm really drawn to kind of the connection between the Four of Swords and the Weaver as well. Bilbo. Sorry, my dog is panting. I hope it's not too distracting. Okay, he just sat down, so maybe it's better. So what I'm seeing here is that no, it's okay. There will be some losses along the way. I think there's things that you want to happen here that aren't going to, that are going to, you'll have expectations of them working out and they won't. But you're meant to relax, and I think something comes in for this that feels, it's almost as though you've kind of become apathetic to where this will lead you, and something comes in that's very spiritually led, that it's like the tide washes it in. You can't go to it. It's very much something comes in for you, and it feels like you give this to Spirit. You want Spirit to do what's of the highest good. But it's hard to see that the highest good is so many things not going the way you want them to. And I think you're going to grow kind of disillusioned and saddened by what's happening here. And Spirit's really saying, it's still leading you where it's meant to go, and something is still coming in. So continue to trust this and keep it in Spirit's hands. And yeah, I want more context because this is like delusionment, but Spirit's saying the Mystic. Oh my god. Okay, so this fire inside of you, this person who's created this thing, this is a sight to behold. This is power at its greatest. Look, we have the Six of Cups. And this reminds me of like a group going into the woods to dance, like witches circles back in the day. And this really feels like you're meant to find that kind of tribe, that kind of group, that kind of connection, whatever that may look like in your path. And it's coming towards you. I love this. So the Six of Cups is on its way to you. But right now you're only seeing the Four of Cups coming in. And this is really coming strong. And it was what was meant to happen. Oh my god. Oh my god. So I'm thinking about how, oh my god, I don't even want to say this, but when sperm try and go to the egg, there's like billions of them, and one is like the strongest, the most, pushes the most, and goes to the egg, and then this this feels like that. So that also makes me feel like whatever you've created and this thing are going to grow something. So whatever this creation is you're waiting for, this thing that comes in is going to grow. You're going to grow something with it. And so Spirit's saying, don't be disillusioned by what you're waiting for. And know that you can trust in it coming. Is there anything else about this hidden? The Entertainer, the Orbs, which is the Chariot, Soulmates, the Lovers. Ace of Swords, and the Bridge. Which is 18, which is the Moon. Okay, so Spirit's telling you to live these things one at a time. The Chariot's here. The Chariot moves in the current, like in the present moment. And I think you're going to have clarity in that, like in that moment. I think something Spirit's really coming in with is that your soul family, like your relationships, will be really, really important as this happens. And it's a part of this manifestation coming in is with those relationships. And I see them being with you as this happens. I think that there's building blocks here. And once you find, there's something about relationships coming in before this creation fully comes to fruition. So, yeah, I think you don't really know, really the point of this is you don't know what's on the other side of the bridge you're crossing. Mona, it's okay. And that's why you want to see what is hidden here. And what Spirit's saying is that there is something here that will connect, that will grow. And it will be after a period of things not working out and a period of, but Spirit's asking you really you can either choose to be apathetic to this or to have peace or to have both, honestly. Like, we can hold a lot of different things at once. And I think when this comes in, it'll make sense to you. But this struggle of waiting, it is difficult, and you're just really meant to trust that the universe knows what it's doing, and that it's bringing in things at the exact right time. It's bringing in the people at the exact right time, and it is leading you where you're meant to go. It's leading you in the best way to the best place for you. And let's see if it'll give us anything about, I mean, it's not really, so maybe not, but I want to see if it'll give us anything about the other side of the bridge. This one, the High Priestess. Yeah, this is meant to be revealed to you internally. Really, I think this is meant to be revealed to you without divination. It's going to be an instinctual knowing, and you're supposed to be very proud that you have this. I think Spirit really right now wants you to dive into these swan qualities, this grace, this trust, this grace under pressure, this effortless creativity and beauty and grace, because that's what you can be in as this comes in. And when it comes in and you're in this energy, you'll be able to welcome it as the person. For some reason in my head it's you're said to be, but you know to be. So yeah, since I saw the witch's circle there, I want to look. Okay, Buffalo. We're having a hard time trusting in Spirit's path, which, yeah, I mean, this is really hard. But there might be some witch's tools for you here. The floral essence. Okay, perfume. Wearing cologne or perfume. I think there's something about attraction right now, reminding yourself you're attracting things to you. Something about refinement, the swan, being in this energy as these things happen, to boost your confidence and trust that what's being given to you is coming. Oh, no. I always associate this with Venus, so that energy might be relevant as well. We'll take the first. Gemini. 9. Scorpio. Okay, let's just take the last one. Aquarius. Okay, so we have 2 air signs and a water sign. Yeah, this has to do with expansion into intellectual, cultured things. And this is Gemini and Scorpio always have a level of mystery to them, to me. And Aquarius is very much individuality. And I think you're meant to be this individual and be this one. And that's how you flow into this mystery. And when it comes, it'll make sense because you've already been living it. You've already been living life as the person who is meant to attract something like this. So yeah, that's what I'm getting for you. It was an honor to read for you, and I will see you in another reading. Bye. Hey, pile 2, if you chose this beautiful stone, then this is your reading on hidden messages for you. So we're going to see what the universe wants to say. And yeah, we're going to leave it open. I was telling Groupon, I felt like I should kind of play it as it lays with this reading. Interesting, that's by Joan Didion. There's a book called Play It As It Lays, and it's really about just accepting life as it is and doing with it what you can. So that just came out randomly, but I'm gonna see as we go through the reading what decks might feel relevant, but we're starting with the tarot. So what are the hidden messages for pile 2? We have the Emperor, the Pelican in reverse on the back of the deck, the Crow, the Magician, the 8 of Birds, and the 9 of Birds. What's hidden? You get what you tell the universe you deserve, or what you feel you deserve. And the cards here are saying that a situation is disempowering, but you have complete control to leave this and manifest what's right for you. You are a very blessed person surrounded by negative, unfortunate drama, or you have been, but you are a person who can manifest, who has the power, the vibrancy to get yourself out of these situations. And I think that really the way to know if you're meant to leave a situation is if you feel disempowered, if you feel like this Emperor in reverse, like you don't have a foothold, like you can't be strong in yourself. If that happens, if you feel that way, then it's not the situation for you. And I think this Crow is really meant to make you realize your power in this. You're a very strong person. And whatever this is it would be staying out of obligation or staying because you feel like it's what you deserve. But I don't see you doing that. I see you as this Crow pushing off and leaving whatever isn't right for you. And you might have had kind of loyalties or feeling like you needed to stay for whatever reason, but you seem wiser and have more self-love than to do that. You want to empower yourself. You want to be empowered. I also think you really know what it feels like to feel empowered and feel sovereign over your life and powerful. And the situation makes you feel smaller than you are. And if you stay in the situation, you're abandoning yourself. If you leave, you're choosing yourself. So I see you going into flight, leaving this. There's birds everywhere. Even the pelican's a bird. You don't have to stick to a flock just because you've been there for a while. You can move on. You can go to different flocks. You can, even if you've been, this does feel like it could be relational groups that you've dealt with. Even jobs or people you're surrounded by. I just think you know what is disempowering you. And this is what you're meant to leave and move to what is empowering you. I think this universe wants to validate that this is what you're meant to do. Maybe you feel guilt or just shame about having to leave this. But that's kind of like Stockholm syndrome. Falling for the person that traps you, that is knowingly hurting you. Yeah, I don't know much about this. I only know that sometimes people who are kidnapped, they develop Stockholm syndrome towards their captor. I think that's something I need to dive more into, because I really don't know what that kind of psychological experience, what really that signifies, or what. I don't know. I just feel like I'm really interested in psychology, so I'd love to explore that, just to know more. Okay, so we did the witches cards in the last reading, and they felt really powerful. I'd like to see them again. The apple. Okay, the first thing that is coming into my mind is you are what you eat, which is so funny for me to say that because I eat a lot of sugar and a lot of, not the healthiest food, but so I don't know if I really feel you are what you eat. I feel it is good to eat healthily. It's additive and it's good for you, but it's also not wrong to choose to eat how you feel. So maybe this is something about that group is that they think you have to be a certain way. And it can be good to be a certain way, but there's nothing wrong with being a different way. So I think you might be disempowered in this group because you are different in some ways. And I think you're meant to go along on your path, and I'm just thinking about the naive women in fairy tales who do whatever, who have to pay the sacrifice to gain knowledge, and it's something you're not meant to have to do. You will immediately know whatever disempowers you isn't meant for you. So, cool. I want to look at the alchemy cards. Ooh. These are a lot, so maybe we do it one by one. Pluto. These kind of situations are what was meant to bring you into your power, but also Spirit saying when you're outside of these, deep change will happen that brings you more and more into power. And I remember when I was really struggling a few years ago, 4 years ago, and the word that really helped me stay on my path and stay focused was the word power. Because at that point in my life, I had relinquished all power to everything outside of myself. And oh man, I was really just broken. I was helpless, and regaining power was really what gave me hope, what was kind of like the finish line I saw. Not that there's a finish line to it, but how I could get out of what I was in, and more power. And so I think that this is reminding you your power is the most important thing here. We have darkening. As you sit with this, as you think about how the universe validates that you're meant to be empowered, and this made you feel like you weren't, maybe you did have some sort of falling for this, thinking you were bad, kind of letting someone make you feel like what you did was wrong, or there's just a cognitive dissonance here. And I think as you move forward, you'll continue to see the darker sides of this. And I feel like to get to this point of empowerment away from this thing, you had to look at the darker sides of yourself and get to know that and work with it and show it care. And just like the deepest parts, the thing, your insecurities, your fears, your shame, your guilt, and just working on healing those things. And I think you're at a place now, or you'll be at a place where you're looking at the darkness there now that you've worked on yours. And I was moving my hands. I kind of move my hands when I speak, and I just saw my palm, and it was like this, like the shadow of my palm. That's funny. So you're gonna have to see kind of the shadow side of them in this. But this will continue to empower you. And even though if you don't like what you see, you're gonna be able to stand to see it, because the power you have and the work you've done, you can deal with this. Doesn't mean it won't suck to see. But there's an Arctic Monkeys song, I think, that's called Suck It and See. Watch there not be, but I think there is. Okay, we have Uranus. Yeah, maybe that song is kind of your anthem. Let me know. Watch it be a song about, I don't know, but it feels right. Because Uranus is all about individuality, selfhood, choosing the self. And this makes complete sense that this came out, because the way you got out of this was by choosing your individuality, by manifesting what was right for you, by not letting yourself stay stuck in this prison, this mental prison of feeling like you had to be there. You have the void. I'm going to pull another, and the Earth's heart. Yes, I think it came to a point where you realized this situation was a void. That's all that was left there for you, was this darkness. And you felt the soul of the earth, the heart of the earth, beckoning you towards a new reality. And that's what you manifested. You manifested away from this thing that couldn't give to you, that there was just nothingness there. And Earth's heart really brought you to it. I'm thinking there was a time, well, I don't know, I was with friends, and I said like, this is weird, but I said how great it was to be with them, and I expected to feel the feeling of the Earth's heart, but I felt the void. And it was so weird, because in my mind, I was like, this situation is the Earth's heart. This is fulfillment. These people are fulfillment. But I didn't feel that. And then it ended up being a situation like this, that when I was removed, I was empowered. And maybe that's kind of the trick of it, is that this situation can masquerade one way, be another, and the Earth's heart is bringing you to what's really right for you. Yeah. The fog here, I think Spirit's reiterating that you weren't able to see during the situation. When I flipped it over, though, it was backwards, and I think that the fog has been lifted. I've talked about the song recently, but At last I see the light from Rapunzel. It's like the fog has lifted. So we have Mars and mystical sister. You had to fight your way out of this self-critical thinking to manifest this empowerment. And I think there's people, maybe even just one person in your life, who really affirmed you, blessed you, lit you up, and showed you that you deserved so much more than what you've been given. There was a fire put under you and a fire that they gave you, and that you both have. And I think that this made you realize that you have this power to fight for yourself, and also just your subconscious having the power to having the power to look at this psychically and be like, and subconsciously, and be like, this wasn't my fault. I think a lot of this power, reestablishing power, has been a psychic thing. You feeling like guilt, or feeling like just a skewed perspective on the importance of this situation, you leaving it, the power of you leaving it. Because when we go back to the fundamentals of this situation was not anywhere near the level of what was right for you, what was aligned with you. And your power, your strength and bravery, your soul pushed you out of this. And it was out of this disempowering situation. And I think at the core of this, it's easy for all these other things to layer on, and for you to feel like maybe it was your fault, or make the situation different in your head, be embarrassed, put more weight on this situation than it needs. And I think that really what you've been working on psychically is letting go of the lens you were looking through that glorified this, that like the Stockholm syndrome that gave this unnecessary power or devotion. And you're just seeing things clearly. And the more you do this, the more empowered you'll be, the stronger you'll be. And you won't have to work to find this perspective. I think sometimes it got convoluted because of just how much it messed with you psychically. And with the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, I see that you're not going to have to work to have this understanding. You're just going to have it because you've done all this work. You're going to know that situation was bad for you. You were extremely powerful, and your soul manifested you out of it. And from disempowering situation, you were brought ultimate empowerment. So I didn't do this with the last deck, last pile, but I have these cards, the White Light Oracle, and I had them, and I thought I lost the book, and I was like, oh my god, I'm not gonna understand what any of these things mean. What does Garuda Supparna mean? But I found the book, so we're gonna look at it. What does pile 2 mean to see? Yeah, it's like having the key you didn't know. I really just want one. Okay, 2 came out. I guess we'll take them. The Sun and Sovereign Queen Maeve. Okay, let's look at both. You have what it takes. You are a light bearer. Within you is a healing power and spiritual wisdom. You can tap to find your way through any confusion or doubt. Have confidence in yourself and know you're enough. Expect an affirming yes from the universe. Yep, so this was how you got out of it, was this soul spirit energy in you, this crow. It was what took the situation's power away. Now I'm thinking of, what's that movie with David Bowie that's where he's that creature and the ending is like the girl who is going through this maze is like, you have no power over me, and the illusion shatters and his power evaporates. Oh my god, that was the worst telling of it, but you'll know what I'm talking about if you've seen it. So yeah, I think that this is the sun energy in you that's cast a light on all of this and has told it doesn't have power anymore. Value what is sacred to you by protecting it from interference, even that which may be well-intentioned. Be compassionate, but set firm boundaries. You're going to triumph over a negative situation. It will take courage, but you have more than enough inner strength, resourcefulness, and boldness to accomplish what you wish to attain. Do not give up. You have the ability to connect with higher worlds, so open your heart and mind to the light. Sovereignty is self-possession. It is the belonging to oneself that happens internally as we claim our being and commit to our unique life journey. True spiritual sovereignty exists outside of social mores. It is not about becoming subversive or disrespectful to others, but rather about seeking out freedom of being. This leads you naturally becoming an active presence which dismantles enslaving social mores and stimulates society to mature spiritually. Come home to yourself again and again. It was funny, it said something about enslaving social conventions, because really that's what we've been talking about, is being trapped in this mindset and you choosing to come home to yourself. And yeah, if you can take anything away from this reading, empowerment and strength come from coming home to yourself and you are a warrior and beautiful for overcoming something negative like this. And anything that disempowers you, anything that feels disempowering, that is not meant for you. So this is what I'm getting for you, pile 2. It was an honor. Hey, pile 3, if you chose this beautiful pyramid, then this is your reading on hidden messages for you. So before this reading started, I don't know, I was getting ready to start the reading. Something was kind of pushing me to wait a little while. And my friend Isabella called me. And it's so funny because right now I'm using my phone for filming. And had she called me during the reading, it would have turned off. But because I waited, I was able to make sure this reading wasn't interrupted, or hopefully not, knock on wood. But I also have, I haven't, when I've been filming recently, been worried about being interrupted. So maybe you feel other people coming into your life, making you just extra noise, kind of interrupting your daily practice, and not in a negative way, just in a life on life's terms kind of way. And it feels like maybe also you feel like with people you love, you can share many parts of yourself, but there's a part of yourself in spirituality, in your connection to the universe, to what's outside of yourself that you can't really explain and doesn't make sense to them. And I think it's really important that you don't make any assumptions about and judge yourself for this, because I really think that that's part of it, and you're loved for all that you are, and you should embrace who you are. And yeah, that's something I'm working on too with family, who they totally support me and they love me and they're happy for me in my spiritual practice, but they definitely aren't practicing the same way. And so I think it's really like embracing who you are and not having to be the same as other people. And I see that being what you're doing right now. Even this pyramid is so many colors, so many layers. I think you're owning yours. So let's get into the reading. Let's see, what are the hidden messages for pile 3? Oh, a blue card fell out. I didn't know. I'm using the green deck. I didn't realize any blue cards were mixed in. We have Justice. Okay, so weird. This is what immediately went through my head was, dearly beloved, we are gathered here today, which is the start of a wedding. I think you are on a psychic plane wedding two parts of yourself, the spiritual part of yourself and your physical, emotional self, and you're doing it with confidence, knowing that all of you is meant to be expressed and shown, and you're realizing that you're meant to be in worlds and groups that you can express yourself in. And I think there's egoic groups, egoic ties that were superficial, that you are realizing aren't the spaces where you're meant to grow and show this part of yourself. And so I think you're really coming to realize that, and coming to realize that it's okay to flow into new spaces. And I see you already have these spaces. I'm just talking about judgmental people from your past, or people who never were safe for you, never felt safe. You're realizing you don't have to be this person there. You can go into the safe spaces where you feel loved and celebrated. And maybe I think your loved ones want you to go into those spaces because they know that's where you truly belong. And they don't want you to be hurt by these shallow, material, just like negative vibration spaces. So I think that's really what's coming up here. We have the Phoenix. Every time we touch, I get this feeling. Every time we kiss, I swear I can fly. I think the further you lean into this, the more you align with what's meant for you, the loves that are meant for you, the joy that's meant for you. And oh my God, this is so beautiful, the Phoenix. You know, letting an old version of you go and being reborn into an even more beautiful version. I'm thinking of the Phoenix in Harry Potter, and I normally don't have that association so strongly. So yeah, there's something you can lean into that's mythic about moving this way. And I think your path to moving into these more embracive, loving spaces, into where your soul fully feels welcome, and choosing those spaces, you're able to look at it in this kind of special mythic way. So the Pathfinder, yep, that makes sense. You found your path, and that's the road you're going on. Even this snake looks like a path. That's fascinating. I've never thought about that before. It's even when a snake is severed, both halves move, like both, it's not like, or maybe that's a worm, but they continue to move, and it's like both paths still exist. And just because they're severed doesn't mean it's not, there isn't life continuing. Interesting. So, yeah, your soul has, you have been so strong in your spiritual pursuits that you've brought this in, and it's very beautiful. I think that's something that registers with you as this continues, is you being true to yourself and being who you truly are is the most beautiful thing possible for you. And that's magnified in your day-to-day, and you're living it. You're not just internally this person, you're externally embracing yourself and loving yourself, being who you truly, your soul is, and it's leading you to really pretty places, and not only beautiful internal peace, but also beautiful external bliss too. I think you're going to see that the world opens up for you, and you naturally gravitate towards these beautiful spaces. Interesting. So we have the Four of Embers in reverse, the Four of Wands in reverse. These spaces, these celebrations are going to be unlike anything you could have ever imagined. They are completely surprising. They aren't the typical kind of celebration success. Like, I'm thinking of like dinner parties or receptions, or just like classic celebrations, archetypal celebrations. These feel like dancing under the stars, and just sort of celebration, connection that feels also more connected to the natural world. Being around people who feel this connection to the natural world with as well. And I see the celebration, what you're moving into, what's true to you, looks different than how it might be for those that you feel like you don't fit into this box anymore. And you're supposed to embrace this new soulful ecstasy, happiness, thrilling celebration, because this is what's meant for you, and you don't have to contain yourself. You can live it and embrace it and be your wild self. This is interesting. I don't know. We'll keep going, but I'm really seeing that your life and your soul want to be able to live life to the fullest, and will live to enjoy life. And you're going to be brought into places and spaces you had no idea were even what you wanted, but they're so beautiful and you're so happy. And yeah, I just see a lot of things surprising you. Three of Wands. Yeah, I think things are coming in you really don't expect. Your life is taking a turn when you go this soulful way that is gonna be just like worlds beyond your belief. It's like the Taylor Swift song, I never saw it you coming. I'll never be the same. This is a state of grace. Yeah, I think that this is your state of grace, and you didn't see what it would look like. But now that you're in it, you really know it's of the soul. It's completely spiritually driven. All these egoic things are falling away, and it's just true love for your life. And that's where Spirit's taking you. We have Two of Embers, Two of Wands. You can't plan for this. This is what's happening. This is where you're headed. You just have to continue living your path. Continue this path of the soul, of being who you truly are, to be led to this. And I think Spirit, we have karma here in reverse. Spirit's being very clear that had you gone the other way, that would
have been karma, that you need to learn these lessons and it would have hurt. But here you're letting your soul lead and choosing not to have these painful lessons. And you're living a life knowing that karma exists, and you also realize that you need to be true to your soul. And I don't think you see it all what is coming for you. This beauty. Never in your wildest dreams. I'm really thinking about spaces like just the forest. I don't know why. I am being drawn to, I just started reading Midsummer Night's Dream by Shakespeare. I was talking about it in another pile and how I felt really called to it and how I want to read it. And so I got it and I am now reading it. And so, yeah, we'll see. There's fairies in that, which is interesting. And I really see you aligning with people who share their soul in a way that you do. And that's the path you're on. I want to look at the mandala cards now. This is Carl Jung. I feel really drawn to Carl Jung's psychology. And I see this playing in the subconscious. All of that playing a major role in this. Okay. We have knowing and personal mandala. Okay, even as you watch this and you're like, I hope I do this, I hope this is really what's meant for me. You know when you're on the right path and when things feel right and what's your personal path. And you need to know that that's where all the beauty will come from. It's funny, unknown's on the back of the deck. There is unknown and there is the known. And taking this path is into the unknown. But you know that it's the way you're meant to go. You know you're meant to go into the unknown. And yeah, this definitely feels like you continuing on your path in an empowered way. And yeah, it's just beautiful, this path going down. It's like you're this meditating human who trusts where they're guided, even if they don't understand why. My throat is feeling a little bit raspy or strained. So we have the crone and the siren. Yeah, you're just going to be pulled to these experiences, attracted to them. They'll be attracted to you, and you'll be pulled in. I haven't seen the crone. In another reading, I saw the crone, or another pile actually, as this really manifesting huge force that is your soul overcoming difficult obstacles, and is this really powerful force that attracts to this and is attracted to this. And yeah, I just see that you are this crone. This is a state of being, not a state of doing. And you're going to find your way here no matter what. And I think this is something that comes with age and growing and experience. But this is the path you're on. When you feel confused, when you wonder what kind of fulfillment you're coming to, it's this. I also wanted to keep the animal cards out. I didn't know why. I think you're really just going to live in your primal, soulful existence and feel really connected to that, and having let go, just feeling less like ego is ruling you. The deer, the otter, and the sea serpent. You're going to be emotionally alive. There's this part of well, Women Who Run with the Wolves, which this really feels like that kind of embracing of the wild soul, of where she sees this woman dancing in the forest during a sort of ritual. I don't know, it's a native ritual, and she looked free, and she was an older woman, and just the way she moved was so she could see her soul radiating around her. And I think that you already have this expressive soul, and you're meant to protect it, be vigilant about it, but embrace that it's already there, and that you can be it in the spaces that allow you to. I also brought up my friend at the beginning of this. There are people who you can be this self around. You already have them in their life, in your life, and you're in their life. And her spirit animal is a deer, so that's why that's coming out. But yes, embrace this part of you, and you'll know whenever you need to move, what the right moves are. Blue and green are really strong here. There was blue and green in the last pile, and that had a lot to do with kind of the step before entering this path of soul and path of expansion. So if that feels relevant, I would look. Now I'm thinking of like the sacredness, the feeling of thinking of ancient people building pyramids, building stone circles, building, and we build in space. How you act within spaces. Yeah, that's something that just is really strong in my unconscious mind, is the spaces we go to, the spaces we live in. What space we can shine the brightest. And I've heard other readers talking about the geomagnetic field and how there's spots on the earth that have these electric currents, these strong spiritual sites like Machu Picchu or the pyramids. And I see you gravitating towards a site like that that is meant to be built on. It's a spiritual site. I'm thinking of like Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado. Those are very spiritual sites to me. They feel, yeah, there's something about the desert for me. And the idea of oases, I think it's so interesting. I was zooming in on a map of the Sahara Desert and looking at all the small oases that were just around the desert. And I was like, it's so cool that these exist and that this is a folklore, that this is real. And yeah, I'm excited for you regardless. I think this journey, you're really headed into the most beautiful, like, you've left kind of those difficult ties and you're heading into this most beautiful exploration of self and of the world. And I don't think you can fully ever let go of, your history and difficult things that have happened, difficult people. But you can accept they've happened and they're not your path anymore and move on from them. So I think this is where I'm going to leave it. Pile 3. This was really beautiful. And I am excited to see where this trail goes. So that's what I'm getting for you. It was an honor to read for you. And I will see you in another reading. Bye. Hey, Pile 4. If you chose my beautiful angelite crystal, then this is your reading on hidden messages memory. So this crystal, I've talked about it in other readings, but it is precious, it's priceless to me. It's a stone that I used to carry in my pocket when I was going through a really transformative, difficult time. And it's just like this light for me, the spiritual light that took care of me and loves me. And it just feels like this very high vibrational stone. The other thing that was coming up for me before I started your reading was that Bruno Mars song, Just the Way You Are. Your eyes make the stars look like they're not shining. You're so beautiful, and I tell you every day. And earlier today, I'm really like fascinated by K-pop right now, and I saw a photo of Rosé and Bruno Mars together at an awards show or something like that, and they have a collaboration, some song that is I really need to listen to because that's coming up also. But yeah, I saw his photo today, and that wouldn't be the case, so that's funny. Let's look at hidden messages for you. Or hidden messages for pile 4. Ace of Wands, Ten of Lotuses, Eight of Lotuses, Nine of Lotuses, this one. Oh God. Okay, hidden messages for you. This is so cliche. I'm like, oh, this reading just feels like a major cliche. But I'm sure as we get into it, it'll be more nuanced and fascinating. But what I'm getting here is that you really are a channel for the most beautiful things. You are this very strong life force that brings passion into people's lives, brings ultimate fulfillment, shows them what isn't right for them, shows them when paths are meant to be left. And the crazy, chaotic adventure that's on the other side, the thrill of being alive. And you do it in this very beautiful, dignified way. And I think it's very important for you to remember that the reason you're this person to these people is because you've experienced this. You've experienced this igniting of passion, realizing what fulfillment is, realizing what you need to leave, what's caused you chaos, what is good in the bad, what is bad in the good, and how to find what you're looking for. You've done all of these things, so that's why you're able to help people. I think it's really important and easy to forget that mentorship comes through experience. And I think sometimes it can be easy to forget that we're grounded in this past experience that led us to where we are. And for some reason, I'm thinking of Lewis and Clark in Sacagawea and how they were the first to explore the American West. They traveled and mapped it, and they were able to tell people what was on the West when you kept walking, because they did it. And other people hadn't, but they trusted in them to lead them that way. They trusted that they had done this because your experience is real, it's valid, and they truly did live that experience of walking through those mountains, doing what they did. I really don't know. Now I'm thinking about Night at the Museum and how they're characters in it. And oh my god, I was watching Curb Your Enthusiasm, the season where Ben Stiller is gonna do the musical with Larry, but then you just have to continue watching it. But so he's the lead in Night at the Museum. And I got an email from the Museum of Natural History in New York that they're opening back up sleepovers at the museum, which is like children are able to go have that fantastical experience of like spending the night in the museum and having that excitement of like the museum coming alive. And I was like, damn, I wish I could have done this when I was a kid. That would have been like the coolest thing ever for me. So yeah. You have this fire in you, maybe about like that passion about things. You found that fulfillment, and it's by realizing you can't carry everything. There were difficult things in your life, difficult feelings, and you knew they'd have to be processed and embraced and let go of for you to really have this space for this fulfillment you knew existed to the degree that you wanted to embrace it. And you came out of all of this as this remarkable swan, a sight to be seen. Anyone who knows you has this respect for you. You are like a master class is coming into my head of how to fully individuate and to do so with lightness and beauty. Yeah. And I don't know why this is hidden from you. Maybe it's just a reminder that your experiences had purpose, because your experiences are what taught you to be this person, to be this anchor for people, to have ridden this wave and come out into still waters. I'm thinking of Niagara Falls. I'm moving back to the Northeast, and I've been thinking about little road trips I want to go on because I'm taking my car, and it's like a car is like, I hope it doesn't break down on the way to New York, but we'll see. It'll be fun to see if that happens. And the Nine of Lotuses, yeah, it just reminds me of Niagara Falls there. And that's one of the places I want to go, is to see that. And also to see parts of, I've never been to Canada. I want to see parts of Canada, as well as like Maine and New Hampshire. And yeah, there's also a lot in the Northeast. There's a lot of famous writers from the late 1800s, early 1800s to the early 1900s who had formative writing years in the Northeast. And it's like Walt Whitman, Emily Dickinson, Sylvia Plath, Mark Twain, etc. So many. Thoreau. And I'm planning on going to like sites that they wrote at this year. That's my plan, is to take road trips to these places. And maybe that's me acknowledging their experience and that they have a lot to teach me. And these spaces hold part of their essence. Yeah, in another reading, or in another pile, I was talking about how space and like the fields, magnetic fields of space, there's these points that are more powerful than others, like sacred sites. And I think that that can be true about people's experience in life, the places that affected them most, holding that. So, what do we want to look at? Let's look at the alchemy cards. What are hidden messages for pile 4? The benevolent guide. Okay, so you've been guided by spirit, you've been blessed, and now your responsibility is to be this guide for others. Your spiritual responsibility. You've been given these gifts, this path, this help to be that for other people, to be this good-natured, loving person. And I see that in who you are, in who you innately are. And why is it, for some reason, lighten up, Buttercup just popped into my head when I've never heard that. I love this for you, that you have this helpful presence. And maybe you sometimes wonder, like, you get into your ego, you're like, why do I put myself, why am I this person helping these people? And it's just innately the path you're meant to go down. And all of your experiences were to lead to that. Just as other people's experiences have been memorialized to help other people. How are we to learn if someone else hasn't paved the way or discovered it? I mean, we can learn it ourselves, that's true. But guides are very important. I think about in tales, I wrote this little short story when I was in 3rd grade that I wrote for class that my teacher was like astounded I wrote, because I think the first few pages were like fairy book, like they felt like a children's book, and then I'm sure I like wrote something silly or like made it clear it wasn't a book. And anyway, the main focus of that book was this girl going to this wise older person to help learn what they must do, where their path was leading them, and they needed that wisdom to move forward in their path. And that's kind of what this is giving. You can say these Chiron glass. Yeah, your perspective and your pain. PP. Oh my god. It's through the looking glass you've seen life in. You've been given perspective that leads you down this river. You're the swan on this river of your consciousness, of your subconscious, and you embrace the flow. And you've been made of your pain. Your pain has cleared this glass for you. I think pain does have purpose. Even though it sucks. So, what else? Okay. Oh, I almost fell. I'm feeling led to these tree cards. Keeper of play. I think something also that you are really meant to show and not feel bad in a capitalist society of work hard, whatever. You're meant to play for people to show them that this is the way you can live life. I think so much of your life is having fun, having play, dancing through all of this. And you're meant to be lighthearted in doing this. This isn't like a weighty, serious responsibility. I mean, it is a serious responsibility, but it can be done through this lightness, through this play, to remind people that they can live a light life. They don't have to be weighed down by heavy things. They can drop these heavy things, process them, gain this perspective, and live from this lightness. Yeah. I'm loving this girl on the swing. Yeah. And there's water even here. This is a really cool card. It's very surreal. So I want to look at these cards to close. The mandala cards. And mandalas were created by Carl Jung, and I love them. So let's see what the mandalas want to leave you with. Their spiritual principles, which I always associate with when you're dealing with pain or you're dealing with jealousy or these difficult things. You can heal that by practicing a principle. So let's see what principle is coming out. Unity. I think instead of thinking of you helping people and mentoring them in this way of you guys being separate, realizing that this is all a united process to bring fulfillment and this high vibration to earth, that all of it's equal and part of the same. Yeah, the same soulful experience. I'm just seeing like a energetic orb, and there's that's in actually this tarot. I wonder if I can find it. Yes, the orbs, which is the Chariot card. Wait. No, I've been saying that, and I said that in another reading, but this is strength. This unity, creating this group, unity is strength. In Women Who Run with the Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estes, she talks about how when you break one stick, it's easier to break one stick than when you're holding two. Holding two and trying to break them is difficult. Holding three is even more difficult. And she uses that as a metaphor for how we're stronger in numbers. And I think thinking of this as all these orbs coming together, as this being an attraction point, no more, no less, and embracing it in that way. I think that'll make it a more spiritual, more beautiful experience. And you are so beautiful, and you have created this space that really helps people. And I think for some reason seeing you all as little orbs might help. And that you're all uniting to be stronger and to create a stronger vibration. And yeah, it's kind of the same as like those energetic spaces on Earth that have stronger vibrations. These stronger points breathe out higher vibrations. And I don't know what that means or why that's significant, but it is, you know, there's power in numbers. So that's what I'm getting for you. Pile 4. This reading was fascinating. We have the Ace of Wands on the back of your deck. I'm thinking, do something you're passionate about. Do something that is playful for you. Create something. And yeah, just do it with the collective conscious, the subconscious. I think that's what Spirit's asking of you. Just to have fun in that way. So yes, that's it. It was wonderful to read for you, and I'll see you again soon.